Before you sell your house and move to Portugal, you need to hear this. And not from some 30-year-old with a drone and a sunset trying to sell you a course. I actually did it. I've been here 5 years, and I'm going to give you every honest reason you should not move to this country. Then, if you're still with me, I'll tell you why I'm still here. Name's Frank. I'm 68. I spent 42 years as a general contractor in Arizona. Built houses, ran crews, fired people who lied to me. So I've got no patience left for nonsense, and I've got nothing to sell you. My wife Linda and I moved to Portugal 5 years ago. And in that time, I've watched a dozen couples show up starry-eyed and go running home inside a year, because nobody told them the truth first. So that's what I'm going to do. I'll give you the ugly parts, the parts the sunshine channels leave out, and then the good part, because there is one and it's real. Let's get into it. Reason number 1, you should not move to Portugal. The bureaucracy will test you like nothing in your life. There's an immigration agency here called AIMA, and dealing with it is a part-time job. You'll get an appointment months out, drive clear across the region for it, and get turned away over one form nobody mentioned. Then wait months for the next slot. I've watched grown men, tough men, men who ran companies, nearly lose their minds over it. If you need things to be efficient, if you need them to make sense, if you can't handle being jerked around by a system that does not care about your schedule, do not come here. I mean it. This one sends more people home than anything else. Reason 2. It is not as cheap as the internet told you. I know. You saw some kid in a video renting a place for €400. That was 5 years ago. Or it was a lie. Or it was a shed. A decent apartment in Lisbon today costs about what it costs in a mid-size American city. 12, 14, €1,600 a month. The live like a king on $500 fantasy is dead and buried. Now it is cheaper than the States overall. Your food, your healthcare, a bottle of good wine, all cheaper. But if you come here expecting pennies, you're going to get a very expensive surprise. Come with a real budget, not a fairy tale. Reason 3. And it gets a laugh, until you live it. The houses are freezing. Portugal's sunny, sure, but almost nothing has central heating. The walls are like paper. And from December to March, you will sit in your own living room wrapped in a coat, watching your breath, wondering what happened to the warm country you moved to. Buy a good heater, lower your expectations. Reason 4, for my fellow Americans especially, the tax dream is over. There used to be a sweet deal called NHR, gone for new arrivals. And here's the kicker nobody mentions. You're American. Uncle Sam taxes you no matter where on earth you live. You will file a US return every single year until they put you in the ground. Nobody outruns the IRS. Nobody. Reason 5 is the one the brochures never touch, and it's the one that nearly got me. The loneliness. Look, I'm a blunt guy. I don't do feelings on camera. But I'll be straight with you, because that's the whole point. My first year here, I was miserable. I couldn't speak the language, couldn't make myself understood at the hardware store. And outside the cities and the Algarve, plenty of folks don't speak much English. Linda found her feet fast. I didn't. I'd built things and led crews my whole life, and suddenly I was a deaf-mute old man who couldn't order a coffee. There were nights I sat there thinking, we've made a serious mistake. Now, before you decide I'm telling you to stay home and you switch this off, hang on, because every word I've said is true, and I'm still here 5 years later, by choice. So the real question is the one you should be asking. Why? Stick with me. That's the part that actually matters. There's one more, and it's the heaviest, so I'll say it plainly. You will miss things back home you didn't know you'd miss. For me, it's my granddaughter. She was 6 when we left. She's 11 now. I've missed 5 years of birthdays, 5 years of her growing up, and I feel every one of them. We fly back, she comes out here, we video call. But it is not the same as being there. And I won't sit here and pretend it is. That's the real price of this life, not the money, the distance. Anybody who tells you that part doesn't hurt is lying to you, or they don't love anybody. So go in knowing it costs something, because it does. So, after all that, the bureaucracy, the cold, the taxes, the loneliness, the distance, why am I still standing here? Because when I put it all on the scale, the other side weighs more. And I'll keep this as unsentimental as I can. I don't worry about money the way I did in Arizona. My pension and Social Security go further here, even with everything I just told you. I can see a doctor without taking out a second mortgage. There's a public system, and private care costs a fraction of what it does back home. And at 68, that is not nothing, believe me. This is one of the safest countries on the planet. I walk anywhere, any hour, and so does Linda. And after decades of American headlines, that's a weight off you didn't even know you were carrying. And that first year I complained about? It passed. We found our people, expats and locals both, the ones who took the time. I learned enough Portuguese to be a polite idiot instead of a rude one. Linda paints now. I fish, badly. We eat dinner outside in February. And there's a light here, coming off the Atlantic in the evening, that I could look at for the rest of my life, which is rather the plan. So here's where I land, and then I'll let you go. Portugal is not paradise. Anybody who tells you it is selling you something, a course, a dream, a lie. It's a real country with real problems, and it will cost you money, patience, and people you love. But if you go in with your eyes wide open, knowing everything I just told you, it might just be the best thing you ever do. It was for me. I'd do it again tomorrow. Just don't come here fooled. Come here informed. That's the whole game. If this was useful, hit subscribe. I tell it straight around here, and there's more coming. Take care of yourselves.